Hopefully this should now be streaming, but I will record it just in case. I've just a second started it in Loafer, so give it a couple of seconds. Right, so yeah, we wanted to look at how to post form data from the front end to the back end and then onto a database, yeah? So we've all now set up an instance of MongoDB, and you should have this project open on your own computers. So Ewan just wanted to, on the basic form, add a notification that when we click the submit button, something has happened, yeah? So I think he was just wanting a very, very basic alert. So what actually happens when we click that submit button? What runs? So here's our submit button, yeah? It's attached to our form, and on submit we send the event object to this function, yeah? To this.sendData. So can we just write some code in this.sendData to let the user know that something has happened? We're not going to bother checking that they've got the correct data at this stage, but just let them know something has happened, yeah? So we could say, yeah, let's do it right at the end. So if everything went well, we should just be able to alert them, yeah, if you want to go along that route. And we could say, you have sent, what have we sent to the back end? Yep, so what data is that? Oh, that's in the wrong event anyway. So make sure you're in the correct method. So our method was send data, yeah, and at the very end of that, we could write an alert. You have sent what? What are we trying to send to the back end? What have I called it in this bit of code? So I want to send across the user, the email, the age, and the gender. So I've packaged that all together. So what have I called it? Post body, exactly, yeah. So should we just log out the post body to the user and say that they've sent that to the back end? So then you don't see post body. So if you want to run your server, by the way, the command is npm run start all, and that will run both the front end and the back end so that you can test it yourselves. So if I enter just some PORIC data in here, click submit, we now get an alert. You have, well, it doesn't actually tell us what it is, right? You have sent object to the back end. So could we do source or something on that? See what happens. Oh, to source is not a function. try json.stringify. Let's have a look. Has everyone got their form up and running? Okay. Yeah, sort of. Yeah, so now we've sent user Porrick, age 25, email Chewy, gender male to the backend, right? So we're clearly logging that there, and they can just okay it. So they've got some sort of message now. I'm not saying it's guaranteed that that data has been sent. So all I did, Ewan, was in the send data function, yeah, which is the function that we've written to send our data to the backend. So we've got each of our elements, the user, the email, the age, and the gender from our form, chuck them into one variable or one object that we've assigned to a variable post body. And then we've written a fetch request, right? This is how we get data from the front end to the back end. We write a fetch and we put in a route that we want to send the fetch to. And if we're sending data as opposed to getting data, our method is post. So we must have the second argument of fetch, which is an object. We must have a method. That method will be post. And also we must specify what type of data we are sending. So in this case, we want to send JSON data. Yeah, a JavaScript object notation thing. So we can specify that using content type and application JSON. Then our body, so the bit that we're sending along to be handled by our fetch. We want to send this object, but we want to send it as a JSON string. So we use the method json.stringify, pass the post body in, and then that should get sent to the back end, right? So the alert we've just written at the bottom of that to say what they have done. Yeah. Simple questions?
Yeah, I spotted a few spelling errors in my code there. I'm just correcting it so as you put it up there.
What were the errors with the post?
Yeah.
Did that just say PST? Yeah, I don't know how that's gone in there. So maybe your method doesn't say post. So just check your method definitely reads as post.
And JSON application.
And check in the content type that it definitely reads application /JSON as well. Otherwise it won't work.
But mine still doesn't compile.
Yours doesn't compile.
My action or alert things are working properly, so I'll just comment it out and work it later.
Okay, cool. Everyone else is compiling? Yeah? What's that? How do you know it's not getting submitted? So how do you know it's not being submitted? Because originally there was no alert or anything. So you'll only know that it hasn't been submitted if you are not getting anything logged to the console, because I think we set up a console.log on the server to just request that we spit out what has been sent to the backend. So you're not getting any of that? No. Okay. So we'll move on to the backend code and then see if we can fix it as we go along. But if not, then of course, yeah, I'll go through it with you. Is anyone happy with their code or not? Feedback, guys? What's going on? Yep. I did npm run start hyphen all, yeah. And that should start both the front end and the back end. You got your very, very basic form. If you were so inclined, as Aeneas suggested earlier, we could have another input. What did you want that input to be, Aeneas? Do you remember? No? You wanted a SAS score, right? Type equals number, perhaps. Should we give it a maximum? We've got a limit, Vince, somewhere. What's your max? 1,000. 1,000. I think we can do it like that. And that's required. So that should have added something to our form. Let's check that's worked. Oh, I haven't given it a label. Is sassiness a word? Is that how you spell it? With a Y? I don't know.
Sassiness is a word. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. So if you want to play around your form, you're more than welcome to add whatever field you want. Why is mine not oh, it has displayed, but unfortunately it's on the next line. Okay, so if we try to put in 23, it should let us. If we try to type some, ooh, let's just put in E. Yeah, okay, because it could be the exponential symbol, but any other letter it shouldn't let us type. And if we try to put in 1,200, it seems to let us as well. So maybe I've written the maximum wrong. Uber sassy, yeah. Yeah, alright. I'm going to leave that for now. And how would we collect that input to also send that score to the backend? If we look at our function, we can see how we've done it there. Yep. Absolutely, so we can do the same thing. And it's form underscore SAS score, alright? Let's do it like that. Yeah, and then as well, Porrick, your next suggestion was? Yeah, we can put it in the post body as well. SAS score is not defined because I've just called it SAS. Okay, awesome. So now, when I submit the data, we should have 5 things. Porrick, how sassy is Porrick out of 1,000, guys? He's pretty sassy. 600? Nice. And now we can see that we've also sent over a SAS score of 600 to the back end. Are we relatively happy with the front end code? Should we have a look at what's happening on the back end? Yeah, because that's what we want to focus on today, really. Yep, so let's go to the back end, and we've got two files there. We've got a database file and a server.js file. Do you want to be brave and delete this and write a server again? So if you wanted to use your own database in this example, how are we going to do that? Well, do you remember when we were on Atlas? Hopefully you've still got it open. And go to your project, click on connect, and you've got three options, remember? Firstly, we just used Mongo Compass just to check that we could connect to our database. Now let's try connect your application, yeah, because we're doing it via an application. Click on that one, and you've got a few options. We're using Node.js, and hopefully you've all got version 3 or later installed on your computers. I'm pretty sure you have, so just keep that option. And now we've got another connection string here. So that connection string, well, in fact, we can go for a full driver example to help you out. So if we copy that full driver example, and essentially this is what is going to go in your database.js file. So if I just copy and paste that down here, so you effectively don't have to write any of this code. Mongo provides it for you. Firstly, we're requiring the MongoDB module from npm. And repeat the previous stage? Yeah, definitely. So we were on Atlas, yeah? And we chose a connection method to be our application, our Node.js application. Connect with your application. Do you see that option? No? Should I go back? Right. So you click on connect, yeah, Malofa, there. That brings up these options. As long as you've set up a user, yeah, you should see these three options. The middle one says connect your application. Click on that. Make sure you've got Node.js selected and version 3.0 or later selected. Then you've got this connection string again. We want this connection string so that our application can connect to our database. Copy it. Am I okay to move on? Yeah? Then go into your application itself and just copy and paste that code in your database.js file. You're going to have to change a few things. The URI needs to have the password inserted in it. So at the moment you've just got password written generically as a tag there. Rather than that, highlight it and type in your password. Everything else can stay the same. You technically don't need the stuff after the question mark. It's just some extra options that you're sending. But it doesn't hurt to leave it in for now. So there's a few other things you want to change. Trying to think of the easiest way to do it. Yeah, I mean, I've set my database name as a variable as well. So you might want to do that. So whatever you called your database, set that as well. If you need to check it, again, go back to Atlas. Your database name, I believe, was that one, but if not, go into collections. And I haven't even created one on there, but if you had created one, then you should see your database name on the left-hand side, yeah? So your database name variable needs to be set to that, and your collection name is going to be the one inside of it, yeah? The one that is part of that database. So if I just go on my form database that I'm using for the demo, and I click on collections, I should be able to see that my database is called what? Forms, and my collection is called users. Yep. So make sure that you put in your correct values there. So as you can see, I've done my database name is forms, and down, where have I set it? Yeah, okay, I haven't even bothered with the collection there. Yeah, so set your database name, and then we need to write a connect function. So essentially that has been set up for you to write your connect function there. The format that we've used looks like that. And of course you're going to have that in your code, and also via CodeFlix you will have that sort of function ready for you. All it's doing is using the Mongo driver and the connect method of the Mongo driver to connect to your connection string, using a new parser to make sure the URL is in the correct format, and then creating a database object that is essentially an open connection to your database. Yeah? We then send that database object back. That's the result of our promise. And in our main server file, whenever we want to do something with the database, we're using that database connection object there inside of our routes. Any questions on the connect function? Explain the syntax. What part? Mongo client.connect. Yep. So Mongo client is up here. It's an npm module that is the Mongo driver for Node. So in other words, it allows Node applications to connect to an external Mongo database. Yeah? And inbuilt into that module is a function. Yeah? Called connect. And that connection function takes your connection string as an argument. It also can take some option values, and then the way we've set it up with a promise, we're returning a promise and a database object that we can use for any subsequent functions. Yeah, like all you're going to have to change for that, you're going to have to change your connection string, which you can get off of Atlas, and change your database name. Yeah, but that you can just copy and paste. Yeah, know that it's a function that returns a promise, that returns a database object that allows you to connect to your database. Yeah, that's just the way you do it. Okay, so back in your server, then we want to set up some route handlers essentially, yeah? When the user does something on the front end, we can do something on the back end and send some information to the database or query the database and return some users. So the key one that we're interested in is the REST store user route. Yeah, because if you remember from our front end code, not that one, the form.js, we had this method send data, and where did it post its data to? It posted it to REST store user. So my first line of REST store user route is I'm just console.logging the request body. So the request body should be that thing that got alerted. Yeah, when we entered our data, the request body should be that object. And how do we check that? Well, it should appear in our console down there if everything is set up correctly. Because this is a node console log, so it will log it to your integrated terminal in VS Code. Yes, if I clear that, oops, didn't mean to close it completely. Submit a new form. We should see that in my, oh, I'm not running anything, right? Okay, so Mongo's already running because unfortunately I clicked the wrong thing. Now what? Identify Mongo client has already been declared. Oh yeah. So where I copied and pasted over that code, obviously I've got duplicate code now, so I'll just remove that. Boot up my server again. Oh, King? No, sorry.
Where do we see the results?
Yep, so I will show you again. Off the charts. Oh no, look, it does work. Good. So that's what it should do, right? We set a maximum of 1000 on our SAS score. So Vince can still only have a SAS score of 1000 as the Queen of SAS. We then submit. It's an honor, yeah. And we get the alert, but also we should get down here in our console, and that shows that object has got sent to the backend. Because in our server.js file on line 26, we're just logging the request body. Yeah, so the request body is equal to our post body on the front end, yeah? So we post body from the front end, it's our request body on the back end. And then, this is the important bit, right? This is connecting to our database. Then the database object that we get back, we can access a certain collection. In my case it's called users, in your case it will be a different name, remember to get it from Atlas. We can then invoke a method of Mongo. Mongo has loads of built-in methods. One of them is called insert1. What that does is it adds an entry to the database. The entry that we want to add is the data that we've just sent to the backend. In this case, user Vince, age 29, all that sort of stuff, yeah? So, to check that has worked, what I can do is, I'm just going to disconnect because I was having trouble earlier, but I'm going to disconnect from my form database and then just connect again. And if all has gone as planned, in my forms collection, sorry, my forms database, and in my user collection, I should see as the last entry, can I zoom this? No, not really, but we should be able to see, can't even copy it, right down the bottom there, we have user Vince, age 29, email Queen of SAS, and all that, right? So the data has correctly got passed over from the front end to the back end to the database.
You said that, SQL, you need to have all the fields. Now in this, if you're not putting in 2 fields, it's giving you a validation error, but it should be something.
Right, so the reason if you only put some fields in, it doesn't like it, is because if you look at your form, all of these have got required. Yeah? So we're asking the user to put the data in there, and we don't submit the form unless all of these are added. But if I took off, let's say, I don't know, we don't want an email, and then we don't want a gender. It doesn't look like age was required anyway. So just a name and a SAS score now we can do. I reboot my server to make the changes take effect. So now we should just be able to put, Ewan, how sassy are you? No, so Ewan doesn't do sassiness. Yeah, and now that lets me send just Ewan, age and score without having anything for the other values, yeah? So if I look on my database again, unfortunately my compass has been a bit weird, so I have to disconnect and connect again. And then I go into forms. I've now got 21 entries as opposed to 20. Go down the bottom, and my last entry is, has it sorted them? I can't see Ewan. Where's Ewan gone? I definitely got an extra entry because I only had 20 last time, but I can't see you. Stealth mode, yeah. It's because you didn't have a SAS score, it didn't let you in the database. What's up, Nilofa? You can see it? Oh, I couldn't see it. Oh, okay, cool. I didn't even see that, but yeah, good. I'm glad you spotted it on the video. Yeah, so that's it really. So obviously we've only looked at how to add data to a database. We haven't yet looked at how to retrieve it. Where is he? I can't see him. Up, further up. Oh, Ewan's not there, is he? We can have a search, right? User. Ewan. Find. Yeah, he is there, but I couldn't see it earlier. So, yeah, if you want to search your database as well, you just input it as a JSON, well, in fact, just as a JavaScript object. So you just put the field name or the, what's it called in this case? Let's say the key, right? Just the object key, followed by the value that you're looking for, and it will return all entries that match those values. We could also add some qualifiers such as greater than or equal to, and we could look at SAS, and we could have a greater than or equal to score of let's say just 10 in this case. Find that. No, I've done something wrong. I'll leave it there. We'll talk about filters and aggregations another time. Huh?
Not with the condition, just the people who have.
The people who have SAS.
Yeah.
Don't know if it'll let you do it like that. Yeah, maybe. No, I think you need some sort of qualifier in there. Yeah, you need an actual value or a greater than value. No, I put a JavaScript object. The way we query MongoDB databases is with object notation. So yeah, you can go to the official Mongo docs, or for those that had it installed, right, you've probably got it in dev docs as well. Do they have Mongo in dev docs? No, they only have Mongoose. Alright, don't worry about that then. And you can look at just want that API. So you essentially write your filters like that, or your queries like that. It will be an object. You'll have the key that you want to search over, or the field that you want to search over. Maybe I needed the $sign. And then your operator, followed by your number. So if I tried that again, we could have our SAS being our operator of greater than or equal to, there we go, 10, close the object again, find it, still not getting anything. Was it called SAS or SAS score? I can't remember now what I called it. Was it sassiness? No, it was just SAS, right? Sissy. Because it's a string, maybe?
Or you can just put name.
it's because it's a string, right? Because we JSONed it before. Yeah. Alright, we'll deal with queries later anyway. But the main thing I wanted to get across, as well as setting up your database, was just how we create our connection function. So how we write that function there, importing the driver, get the connection string, get the name of the database, connect to it, and then on our server we can write the routes, connect to our database, and then do something with the collection. Yeah, whether it be find a certain user, so write a query, whether it be insert a new user, or anything like that. Yeah. Once we've got that set up, it's just a case of creating a new route, either when they make a GET or a POST request to a certain route, and then apply some sort of Mongo function, whether it be insert one, delete one, update one, all these sorts of methods, which you'll just have to learn by playing around with Mongo itself and looking at the docs. Yeah. And we can do a follow-up workshop at some stage just to purely look at these things, right? How to query a database, how to delete things from a database. But mainly today was the setup and getting some skeleton code to play around with. Yeah? Any questions? No? Clear or just foggy? Because there's a lot going on. I haven't used it much, but yeah, I've used it a little bit. Yeah, all good. All right, I'll stop it there.